a look at the GOP field for 2024, Neil Levesque joins us now. He is the executive director of the New Hampshire Institute of Politics and Political Library at Saint Anselm College and co-host of the New Hampshire Live podcast. Neil, thanks so much for joining us. I want to continue with former Vice President Mike Pence. You were at his speech this morning. What were your takeaways? Do you get the sense he's going to run in 2024?
I definitely get the sense he's going to run in 2024. And I think what he was communicating to voters here in the First in the Nation primary state was that he is a social conservative and he has a long track record of being that way. And he's firm with that. And he's committed to his country and his Constitution. And so I think he avoided a lot of the other hot topics that are out there and sort of went straight for that. And I think it was a communication that was well received, and we had a very large audience. He spoke from the podium right behind me.
Yeah, I was going to say, do Granite Staters want to see him get in?
I think the Granite Staters want to see a lot of candidates get in and test them and see what they're all about and see if they can carry this country forward into the future. And so I think that that was part of his message today. Again, very well received. We had a sellout crowd. And a lot of media was here as well. And we've had a lot of candidates in New Hampshire just in the past week and throughout the summer. So this First in the Nation primary is alive and well. There's a lot of people running, a lot of people out there campaigning.
And, of course, one of those who could potentially run again is the former president, who has hinted at a possible 2024 bid. Do you think there's an appetite for another potential Trump run?
Well, I definitely think that in the Republican Party, amongst Republican diehard voters, he would poll very, very well and probably dominate the field. There's no doubt about that. But I wonder whether or not he will get in. If he does get in, when? Will he ever say he's not getting in? We really don't know. But remember, in New Hampshire, too, the largest voting bloc are independent voters, undeclareds, as we call them. And they can actually take a ballot on the Republican side or the Democratic side during our primary. So you have to contend with this very large block of people who are more reflective of the general election. And so I'm waiting to see whether or not he's capable of doing that.
Yeah, and I think in some recent polling, he was kind of running even with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis in a potential matchup in the Granite State. What does the Florida governor in particular need to do to distinguish himself as a potential front-running GOP candidate if he and the former president run?
Well, I think whatever he's doing, he'll do more of, because obviously it's a pretty good recipe. And he is sort of riding a tightrope with the former president. It must be very tight down there in Florida between these two potential candidates. And certainly they're very much alike as far as their messaging and the themes of their campaigns. So it's a tight place. And remember, I think with both of them, there's only room for one on a ballot. And so I think it's a difficult place to be. But I think a lot of Republican voters are probably looking at DeSantis as potentially the future, but we'll see. He has yet to come into the Granite State. We're waiting for him to do so. Most likely he'd wait until after the midterm election, but a lot of anticipation, certainly, for Governor DeSantis.
All right. Well, Neil Levesque, we will leave it there. Of course, a lot of talk about presidential politics, but we know you've got a big primary coming up next month as well. So I'm sure we'll be asking you back. Thanks so much again for your time.
Thank you, Nicole.